Tanya is saying, spiritually, I am coming into my own now and realizing my life, career, living situation, etc. does not align with who I am. And Laura is saying, hello, I'm not sure what made me click. Curiosity. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. And as we are all moving as energy beings, there are many things that we don't have a logical explanation for, and that is perfect as it is. And Tanya, this is going to be a perfect transmission in all the ways, perfectly imperfect and imperfectly perfect. So let's come into this space. Let's ground into this space by allowing yourself to drop into your body. And as you close your eyes down, allow your gaze to turn inward. As your gaze turns inward, have the courage to allow what's inside of you, this beautiful void, to open up, this infinite space. And like Laura said, just allow that curiosity to take you deeper. Simply exploring how deep does this infinite space go. And opening up your awareness of the space at the crown of your head. Opening up awareness of the space in between your brows, the third eye. And if you are seated, if you are standing, as long as you are not operating any machinery, please come along into deep divine presence of who you truly are. Throw your arms up like a great chalice, opening up to receive the cosmic light. This brilliant white light, perhaps golden for some of you, perhaps even violet, whatever the color is, maybe even rainbow colors, multi-fractals, allow that to be true for you. Opening up the crown of your head, tilting your head up, allowing the third eye to receive the light as well. Let the light cascade down. Take a deep breath in, all the way down. Inhale the light into the throat, into the heart. Stretch your solar plexus open. Let the light into the belly. Squeezing your perineum so that you are holding all the light here. The great stupa. And as you exhale, bring your arms down. Bring the chest down, relax the shoulders, shoulder blade back and down. Bring the light into the space below the navel. Let it take up residence here. Let the light be so pearlescent, so radiant. Inhaling into the space below the navel. Let the light become a pearl as you exhale into the space. Inhale more light in. exhale out. Continue to do so. Keep bringing any excess energy, especially in the head, in the upper body. Bring them all down. Cascade the energy down to the space below the navel. Bring full focus into this space, into the pearl. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Allow this pearl to be your truth. And every word, every action, every thought shall emit the frequency of this truth from this space, always. Just to anchor this in a little bit as I'm feeling it in the field, simply allow yourself to bring your arms upward like this. Arms up like this, just on your side, okay? And inhaling into the pearl below the navel. You're going to twist your spine out to one side and stretch your arms outward. Exhale. And hold this position, inhaling into the belly. Let the inhale be more powerful than the twist. Let the inhale matter more than this twist. Inhale, inhale, see if you can stretch open the solar plexus despite the twist. And hold it, hold it. Inhale, inhale, inhale. See if you can inhale up the spine even further to the top of your head. And come back to the center. Exhale with the arms upward. Exhale up, exhale up. Coming back to this position with the arms. Inhale into the belly. We're going to go to the other side in completion. Twisting, stretch open the arm and hold it. See if you can inhale and hold this. Stretch your solar plexus. Inhale even further into the top of the head. Let the cave of Brahma be activated. Let the super consciousness be activated. And coming back to the center. Exhale. In this moment, I invite you to tap into that place, wherever that is, deep within you, where you can trace the frequency of unconditional love, cosmic love. Where does that place resound, perhaps as an activation, perhaps as a feeling of expansion, a sense of blossoming in your body, outside of your body. Where is that place? Cosmic love. And can you let that energy expand, move, and infuse your entire being right now? Can you allow the cosmic light that is you to come in so fully without any inhibition? Let the light cascade into form from pure consciousness, from nothingness into you. You that is a pure expression of the divine source, the universe. Truth observed from every different perspective. So what is your truth? What is your truth? Share that right here. What is coming up immediately, without logicking your way, without making sense of any of it. Instantly write that down in the comments. Put that down right now. What is your truth that is emerging from this third space that we have just opened up together? It isn't your space, or it isn't my space. It is the space. It is the 0 point field where we can observe infinite potential. Infinite potential. What is your truth? Yes. So different comments are coming up. What are you feeling? What is the first instinct? The word that dropped in, the color, the feeling, the vibration, the memory, it could be a memory of the future, a memory of the past. Everything is honored here. Nothing is left behind, and my work stands for this. I am here to bring everything that is who you are into one integrated, empowered whole. Okay. So Laura, I can see that you said lonely. Can you elaborate a little bit on what that is? And I see colors, red, tightness in stomach, beautiful. We can dive a little bit deeper into that. I feel like that can tie perfectly into what you first put in, which is lonely. David, hello David. A warm feeling in my heart. I love that. I love that. David, I feel an invitation is coming up. Can you go deeper into the portal behind the heart? Let that space open. Let that space open, and let the back of you open, and see if the back of you is able to glow. No forcing it, just for today. Let's see if that part of you can glow a little bit more. Bring that multi-dimensionality alive. Yeah. Laura Red, Kathleen, welcome. Expansion, yes. Laura says tightness in stomach. David, absolutely love. Yes. Kathleen Green. So take a moment here and breathe that in. The part of your body that is feeling this, whether it's an expansion, whether it is a tightness, breathe in. into that space. And when you breathe in, I want you to bring your entire being to that place. Your entire divine presence. Let that take up space fully in that place that you feel it. Don't hold it back. When you exhale your light out into the space around you. And then you bring it back, bring the cascading light in, bring it back into the place again. And when you exhale, let it fountain out even bigger. Keep creating the toric field and allow the field to expand from that part of your body outward. From the part of your body where you are taking up full authority, full ownership, fully integrated as who you are. There is no good or bad. Tightness doesn't mean it's bad. Sadness doesn't mean it's bad. Loneliness doesn't mean it's bad. We want to remove all of those mind-made barriers here today. I'm feeling a lot of movement and I can feel my thirst. My goodness, there is a lot, yeah? Definitely in the throat. Definitely feeling it more so in the sacral, more so in the solar plexus, which represents our mental power. And this is the real thing that we must first and foremost understand and become aware of, which is what are we thinking of most of the time, every day? What is the mental chatter? And who is taking up full residence in you? Yeah? How many of you have an existing practice of connecting with your divinity? Connecting with your higher self, connecting with the infinite field, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, God. Who here has an existing practice of doing that? And I want to specify it as a practice that is done simply because it is who you are, not to achieve or attain an end goal. Even though I said a practice that you connect with the divine, maybe that in itself is a goal, quote unquote, but I want this to be very clear that it is a practice that is in devotion, that is simply who you are. It simply is for you to connect with that divine version of you that is always home for you, and you engage with that field of infinite potential before you go out to meet the world or engage with other people, versus a practice that you do because you want to manifest this house or manifest this business, manifest this financial situation. Is very different. So I want to make it very clear here. So who has the first version of the practice, which I just mentioned, which is a practice of simply being with all that is, simply becoming no one, no name, no space, no time, and remembering that you are the sovereign Tao, you're the sovereign source, and you are a fractal of the divine, here to unfold as the divine's greatest story. Who else, Laura? Yes, who else? I'm sure there are many more of you. Come on, bring it in, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Come on. Anyone else? Kathleen, yes, I have a daily practice. Beautiful. And so, do you connect with that essence as who you are, or do you feel that you connect with that essence as something separate from you that you are praying to give you something. Again, I'm specifying this because there is a reason. Very good, Kathleen. I love that. Beautiful. So the reason why I really felt called to this beautiful topic is that, first and foremost, beautiful, Laura, I love that. First and foremost, it is the supermoon. For those of you who have no idea what that is, it's a full moon, and astrologically it's parked in Taurus. And Taurus to me holds a lot of root chakra energy. You know, it's a lot about coming home and what home means. What does home even mean? And a lot to do with comfort and coziness. You know, it's like that beautiful visual of cozying up to a cup of tea and coming home to a comfortable place that we already know, and it's a sacred space, right? And you know, when I first came home, I was coming from a place where I was searching, I was seeking for many years, like I think literally from the moment I have a memory, you know, as a child until I was a teenager and then a young adult, of questioning what does a home actually mean. You know, I was traveling. I was born in Malaysia, but I traveled a lot on my previous job as an editor, and I lived in England for a couple of years and Paris for a couple of months, and then I moved to Hong Kong to live and work. And so it was always this constant search for what a home really means, until possibly around 4 years ago now, I was still in my previous job and having recovered from almost 10 years of my entire life, various forms of eating disorders, never really feeling at home and at peace in my body. I was freshly recovered and, you know, really coming to a place where, not that I was feeling comfortable with my body, but more like I'm comfortable eating and not feeling like I have to kill myself after I eat. You know, that was a real escapist disorder for me for a long time. So freshly recovered, I had a very surface level practice of meditation and yoga. And still I felt like, hey, you know, I do this all the time and every evening, but the minute I step off my mat, I feel like I'm lost to the chaos that is around me. And that doesn't feel like my truth. I feel strongly there is something more than this. And so this is something that I always say, you've got to believe it until you've got to believe it and then it'll happen, right? Because the minute I got down on my knees and I said to Source, to the universe, please show me a way, because I don't know what it is, but please do show me a way, because I do strongly feel there is something a lot more than this. That's it. And very swiftly after, I received a media invitation to a tea ceremony. And that tea ceremony was the first ever time in my entire life where I encountered my whole being, what wholeness means, what home feels like. I felt it. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is exactly what home feels like. And there's no way to explain it. The mind couldn't make sense of it based on a past experience. It was just it. And at the same time in the ceremony, I actually witnessed my ancestors, my grandmothers, and all the four grandmothers, actually, mostly the maternal side, actually. Their presence were very strong. And in that vision, I saw the two grandmothers that I recognized from this lifetime sitting by a cauldron of boiling tea, boiling soup, as we call it in Chinese. And they were sitting there patiently waiting for the broth to come to perfect maturity. And that is the spirit that tea spirit really carries, as I would find out later. And the very, very final moment before the ceremony concluded, when I held the bowl of tea in my hands, I heard tea spirit speak to me and say, you have to drop everything you know and go and serve tea. And that was it. Everything since then was guided by this feeling, moving through the unknown, moving through and back into the 0 point field, the infinite self that we are. I had no idea about these things. Seriously, I came from a background of being raised in a healthy Chinese family, but most of the time, life was defined by success. Life was defined by how much you own and what accolades you have and what education you have and what job title you had. And so, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Laura. And so, when this mandate, this divine mandate came to me, I was blown away in a lot of ways, because my mind quickly came in, after the ceremony, after the divine moment. It's like the mind came in after the ceremony, when everything was back in that reality space, as we call it in the Matrix. Yeah, it's like, who are you to do this? You have no experience. You have 0 experience. Like, who are you to do this? But I couldn't stop thinking about it, and the spirit was very alive and very strong. So eventually I walked back into the ceremonial space and I asked, how can I learn? How can I serve? And I remember the first thing I ever learned about the way of tea was to drink her so that you can understand her transmission, non-verbal transmissions, and you can understand her language so well that nobody can tell you what it is. And so it is. That was my beginning of initiation. I became an apprentice, and I eventually moved into Edinburgh, and that whole thing that happened around the world, as we all know, allowed me to do this online. It allowed me to discover that everything is energy based, and that even though we're not sitting in person together in ceremony, the power of this work is not diminished, and in fact amplified, because now we're in our own sacred spaces and we're coming in with full presence that we chose to bring into the space. It's not like I forced you to turn on your screen and you signed up for this. It's like you chose to be here, and on top of that, you chose to build this practice in your own space. It's not like you can run off to another space and then be there for 2 hours and then kumbaya and then come back. It's like you are in your space. You are the practice. That's why I always say there can never be a ceremony without your own full presence. If you're not present, there is no ceremony, whether you are a guest or the host. Same thing. So, let me take a pause because I see a question here from David. If you drink tea with somebody, is it different together than drinking by yourself? I would say as the host, it is definitely, I will give you 2 perspectives, because it's equally important to be a host and a guest. And as a host or as a mentor who guides you through the way of tea, yes, it is different, definitely, because firstly, as your mentor, I will already be preparing for the ceremony hours before we meet. So I will be setting the sacred geometry of the field so that when you arrive, when we're together, that transmission is very seamless, because it is my responsibility to be a pure channel, to be a clear, crystalline channel for whatever that needs to come through, for whatever that needs to emerge in the field for you. And it's the co-creation, obviously, because I always say this, the tea itself only leads you to the truth. When it is led directly from the heart, it only will lead to the truth. And that truth will only reveal itself as much as you are ready for it today, right here, right now. It will never be anything more. It will never be anything less. And so that's why my invitation always in a ceremony is for you to open your heart up fully to receive the medicine without any attachment, any attachment to the outcome, I would say. So that is different, because that's my work as a mentor. But as a guest, it's important to note this, is that, like I said, come in with an open heart, ready to receive the medicine. Medicine in this sense is something that places the spirit back into your heart. You know, tea has for centuries in traditional Chinese medicine been known as what they call a Shen tonic. Shen means spirit. And it is often cited that, you know, this is a vessel, and that spirit drops into the heart and enlivens the heart and brings the first heartbeat. And it's like the North Star that dropped into the heart and fired it up. That's why the heart is symbolized by the fire element. So when you observe someone, you can see from their eyes, because the fire rises and radiates out of the eyes. If you can see from someone's eyes that their spirit has left the house, yeah, which is often causing things like eating disorders, right? That's when you want to have a practice that puts the Shen back into the heart, that opens up the heart to love, to connect, because that heart energy is a magnetic field. It magnetizes the right people, the miracles, the opportunities. It magnetizes that. Not that you have to go out there and get it or attract that. I want to be clear. It's a magnetic field. It's already magnetizing whatever it has to magnetize anyway. But imagine you are such a clear, radiant field, and there's no limit to it. Imagine thinking about something and immediately it drops in. And imagine that is so real that you don't even need to imagine it, because it's happening. The cosmic alignments are all supporting this. And as we move deeper from right here, right now, we're going to move into Pluto, moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius on the 19th. So I'm hoping to jump back on here to talk a little bit more and give you a transmission on that day. But then after that, on the 22nd, we have more cosmic alignment happening. So I'm offering a free masterclass that you can join. So drop me a DM, definitely, if you want to receive the link for that. And then eventually we will move into winter solstice, which is when the divine light is at its apex. It's always dropping in, but at that time, the veil is so thin that it's so powerful that it's literally going to create so much quantum leaps. That's on the 21st of December. And that's when I'm actually going to host a beautiful online retreat that will be able to take you in and deep into the depth of the waters and really forge that beautiful diamond light. Oh my gosh, I can't even, the beautiful uniqueness of your heart needs to be unveiled, and your truth, like putting the tea aside, because that tea, the spirit of tea is always here to help walk with you. But the question is, are you ready to be met? Your truth. And that truth at the highest level is and always will be the one and only divine source, infinite one, whatever you want to call it, divine mother, I love that, the eternal one. But your truth Your truth is a fractal of that. And everything, when you stand on that ground, when you stand right here and you can tell me and you can look me in the eye and say, I am divine. I am divine. And everything in my life, everyone I meet, everything I see, everything I do is an energetic match to my divine frequency of being. Can you meet yourself there? Because here's the thing. I know so many of you have your practice, your incredible success, all the things that you have done. And if you haven't given yourself a pat on the back for all the things you've achieved, and let's face it, are creating as we speak, and the effect, the ripple effect you have on the world, I want you to take a moment right now to really feel the presence of your own divinity showering down upon you, gazing at you, gazing into you, telling you, do you see yourself? Can you see your truth? And that truth can be a silent one that there is no words to describe it. And your purpose is here to unfold, continuously unfolding. Because this physical form that you're seeing, this physical form that is sitting right in front of the screen, looking at this stranger, talking to you, this physical form is energy folding upon itself, creating a physical form. But you and I, as energy, as frequency, pure frequency, we have met already in the field. We have already met. And I just want you to take a moment here, really take a moment here to acknowledge that this moment right here where we are all gathered, it's not just another live session you dropped into. I'm not just another person that is babbling along, or another person whose words is resonating in your heart, and then you switch off and go back to your life. I really want you to take this seriously, because it's a very rare thing that we get to be together in this way. And even rarer that we get to sit together again. Can you feel that? And yes, we have such, the fortune of having the internet to connect us just like this. A little dot, a little button, and you click on it and we're here. It's a remarkable thing. But do you remember the day when someone said we could do that, and they laughed at that person and said, "You're crazy. you're literally crazy." And look where we are. So if you are looking at your truth, feeling your truth, and you're saying, "Well, I'm not seeing the evidence yet. I don't see anyone praising me about it. I don't see anyone agreeing with me about my truth. I don't even see the way forward to express my truth," then may I remind you, you are a leader in every sense. And that's why there is no evidence yet. Can you bring your leader back into being now? That is the leader in you who needs to wake the fuck up and let's fucking go. And sorry for the swearing. When I get fiery, that's what happens. That's my heart. Sorry, not sorry. Is it Abraham? You are the light I see in me. Yes, exactly it. We are all fractals of the divine, fractaling and fractaling and fractaling. Yes, Laura. I know. You know what? Someone actually said this before. One of my dearest friends. She was like, when you swear, it's like watching Pooh Bear swear. It's quite funny. Alright, so Abraham, I appreciate you sharing your experience and soul with me. Yeah. And let's take a moment, everyone here. And this is what I love calling one of my dearest friends who wrote a book, and actually I found out quite recently she wrote a part of the book about the first time she had a tea ceremony with me and how she felt such a deep presence. She calls this soul gazing, and it literally is just it. Gazing at the name on your screen, gazing at all the little bubbles that are coming out, gazing at the heart that's coming up, gazing at the name, gazing at my face, even if you want to connect with my soul, simply allowing your gaze to transcend time and space and see what comes up in your body. Whether it is a discomfort of looking or pure expansion, there's no right or wrong. It simply is. So give yourself a moment to do that and allow that truth to percolate, to emerge even more. I can feel it in the field. It's emerging, but I want that truth to radiate and shine if we can in today's session. And if you want to journey further with me, this is where we go to the whole other level where it isn't, this is creating awareness, which is incredible. I love doing it. But when you're with me, I don't take any excuses. I don't take any reason that you cannot. This is what mentorship creates. Mentorship, right here, right now, for me, what I'm here to do is truly to bring that essence into form, to bring it into full embodiment. Okay, so Abraham, Neil, grateful for some practical examples of how to integrate this truth. Okay, so I'm assuming, Neil, you're asking for some practical examples. Can you confirm in the comment section? Abraham, I am stardust, radiating love. Yes. And Laura, yep, not expecting the swearing. Kelly, hair standing to attention. Yes, yes, yes. That is the divine presence. When you suddenly feel some chill, when you feel your hair standing to attention, that's it. That's it. Deep connection. And Laura is asking, do you do tea ceremonies across the UK or just in Edinburgh? Would love to go to one. They sound incredible. Incredible question. And we are at 88 meditators. How incredible. 88, infinite. We're in the infinite field and we have 88 of us here. So Laura, just to answer your question, I am based in Edinburgh, but I'm starting to roll out more in-person events. So there's one that's coming up in London in February, on 16 February next year. But mainly right now, what's happening is that mostly everything is online. I have an incredible mentorship called Chadao for the Multidimensional Woman. 3 months of mentorship, completely immersed in the way of tea as a way of living. Whether you want to serve eventually or whether you just want to incorporate this as a practice or work with tea as a spirit, as a guide, it's up to you. But most of the women who come into my space, they already have a certain idea of well, at the beginning they will have a certain idea, but eventually it will just keep evolving into something that's completely out of our imagination, which is exactly that. Because I often say this, is that life is a mystery to be lived. It's not a problem to be solved. And when you come in here, my intention is that you understand that you're coming in here as a whole, fully awakening being, and that is an evolution. You may have an idea in your head, like, this is how I want to look like, how I want to be, but let this blow your mind. Really let this blow your mind. So to answer your question, Laura, that would be a good place to start. And if any one of you want to have a free experience with me first and foremost, then you're very welcome to go to the free masterclass on the 22nd of November called The Infinite Woman. But if you know, like, this is it for me, dive right in. Just drop me a DM. I can direct you to the right places. And for Neil, yes, I hope I answered your question, Laura. Let me know if you want more information. Happy to answer. I'm just scrolling back up to practical examples of how to integrate this truth. Okay, lots to share because that is my life. That is my life. Yeah. So drink some water if you have water. There's a lot of moving, energy moving. Oh my gosh, Laura! Definitely, please sign up for a newsletter or my newsletter. A newsletter. Please sign up for my newsletter if you want to be kept in touch, or just come on to my Instagram and say hello. I would love to keep you posted. But the London one is definitely set for the 16th of February, so would love to see you. And if you'd like to come into the online retreat as well, that's happening on the 21st of December for winter solstice. Please do as well. We'd love to have you. Just in case some of you are wondering, I can feel this in the field, how that works for online mentorships. You literally receive everything in the post. So to start off for the 3-month mentorship, for example, you get the whole set. Like you get the bowls, you get the bowl, you get the incense set, because incense and tea dance together. And then you get the wild indigenous origin ancient tree tea leaves delivered to you. So in the mentorship, we will be exploring specifically to start with 6 genres of tea. And then each month you get another set of yin yang tea. And these tea we call living tea because they are from ancient tea trees and they are wild grown. And why living, not organic or anything? Living because it's not necessarily certified organic, because it is also pesticide free, it's also chemical free, it's also fertilizer free. So that's why sometimes organic can mean they still use organic pesticides or organic fertilizers, right? So living also means they have ample space to grow upward and sideways, and it doesn't have any artificial irrigation to the trees. And finally, it has a loving experience and relationship with the farmers, with the artisans who hand process them. Yeah. So these tea leaves are picked and chosen for the mentorship because it can really fire up and activate that true nature within you, because it is so close to nature. There is a direct transmission from bowl to soul, and something magical happens in that space. It's like we are doing here right now. It emerges from a third space when these worlds collide. Yeah, Laura, it sounds so good, right? You've got to experience that. And yes, it is currently, I would honestly say right now, it's the final intake of 2024. So if something stirs in you and you want to explore that, drop me a DM. We can definitely explore that together, okay? So is the masterclass on here? I haven't actually registered it yet, but I'm thinking of it. But my first and foremost intuitive hit was to have it on Zoom so that I can see your face, I can interact with you in that intimate space. So for now, it's on Zoom, okay? Neil, leading by example, demonstrating love and virtues, acts of kindness and compassion. So you've asked me for a practical example. I love what you just shared here, Neil, about leading by example, demonstrating love and virtues, acts of kindness and compassion. And I want to say that it is the most difficult times that will ask of you to do so. And when you are able to, that's when you know you have integrated your truth. When you know that in the most difficult moments with the most difficult people, you are still able to remember your divine truth. And it's getting clearer and clearer to me that the truth is, of course, different for everyone, right? At every stage of your life. But the truth, like capital letter T, is to know, like your skin and your bones, that you are divine. And you are here to express that, to allow the universe to be expressed through you, as you, for you. There's nothing against you. All the things that are difficult and hardships in your life, I get that. They are not here working against you, ever. And if you can understand that, like so deep in your bones, then you are leading by example. You are being love in those situations. You're not virtue signaling, but you're literally walking as virtue. And you're kind and compassion, not in a way where you're being a doormat, but you're kind and compassion even in your no's, like your sacred no. And you're kind and compassion in your sacred yes, without having to overthink them, without ever having to think, oh, they would take advantage of me if I say yes this time, or thinking that, oh, they need to give back something to me because I did something for them. When you are able to fully land in that feeling, that's when you know you have integrated the truth. And I'm telling you, as someone who's gone through this very personally, this past year has been the deepest initiation into another level of awakening for me since the time I had my first cup of tea. Everything is literally guiding us to awakening that truth. Everything. Even the hardest situations, even the most difficult people that we have to face. And by God, I wouldn't choose any other differently. Honestly. This work I will talk about until the day I die. And that is priceless for me, because if only you knew. It's truly what comes up in me every time. If only you knew how precious and divine you truly are. And I want everyone to know. I truly do. And this knowing, despite everything you're seeing online, in social media, or whoever that's said that to you, what I can tell you from my own experiences, this knowing must come from you. It has to come from you. And only you. Nobody can give it to you. They can wrap you with love. But if you don't believe in it, or that you don't think you're worthy of it, if you think that this is not enough, I'm not good enough, all the things, it doesn't matter. The divine can be standing in front of you and you have no freaking clue that it is the divine. So involution for evolution. Involution for evolution. Yes? So before we wrap up, I have a real question for you. What is stopping you from living as your truth? Why do you think you're not able to integrate anything that's not integrated? Why can't you live as your truth? share that if you wish. If you like to keep that in your journal, you're very welcome to. But it's a question. It's maybe a question that you can't even answer on the spot. It's like a question that almost fries the brain when you really look at it. Because, at least for me, why can't I? There's no reason I can't. So why am I not doing it? Right? And I think that kind of almost joking, humorous spirit is very much aligned with the nature of tea as well. She, as tea spirit, I would like to call her, she is very humorous and very patient. It's almost like this divine mother who would often ask the question of like, well, would you like to go for another round of rodeo ride, or are you ready to up level? Are you ready to be finished with this karmic cycle and move on to the next and the next and the next and the next? And to say yes to that has been my biggest experience of up leveling in such a short time, because every time I had a difficulty in facing my own self, especially my ego trips me up, Tea Spirit will be there and she will be telling me the truth, and the choice is within me. It's like, are you going to go with that truth, or are you going to go with your ego, who is literally just afraid? So it's keeping you small and it's keeping you safe, but we've got big things to do here, because I am identifying more and more as a leading light, as you are. If you have a truth that you are not seeing evidence yet in the world, please, in this moment, let that illusion die. The illusion that, oh, I'm not meant to do this, that truth is too scary, it's too big. Let that illusion die, because that is the exact reason why that truth is here, because you're here because that truth was planted. And you are here to be the living expression of that truth. And whatever that you think is your truth, whether it's like writing a book or writing a musical or becoming a healer, a top-notch writer, whatever it is, that is only what you're doing as the truth. Your truth never wobbles. It is the vortex of stillness. It is the cosmos unfolding through you. That Big Bang, it's still unfolding, it's still expanding, and it's expanding through you. What do you think? Where else can it go? You're literally the Big Bang. You're literally the cosmos, guys. So this is another thing we dive into together in mentorship, understanding your cosmic origin. The more you're able to understand your original nature, the more you're able to stand in that fluid firmness as a whole divine being, that nobody else can take away this power, because it is you. You are empowered, whether you're having a sad day or bad day or a good day. This is how I would describe it. And that to me is priceless. That to me is what we are all here for. And we can commune with each other, heart to heart, soul to soul. I don't need you to see my opinion. I don't need you to agree with my perspective. And I can see your opinion and your perspective and agree to accept it, because that is who I am. Thank you, Laura. So this is the truth. And if you want more of this beautiful, beautiful experience, you know where to find me. Taking a pause here for this to land. If anyone else has comments, questions, please feel free to drop it in right now. I just want to say thank you so much for you, for sharing your time with me. We went over time a little bit, but I think it's perfect. It's perfect. Okay. Thank you, David. I hope that I don't often do much with men, but you're so welcome to come to the online retreat that's open to everyone. And of course, if you're in London, I don't know where you're based, please come to the half-day retreat in London in February if you're ever around. That would be amazing. Oh my gosh, David, I was in Manchester. I said I lived in England for a couple of years. I was in Manchester for 3 years. How wild is that? Oh my god, you're not far. You're not far at all. By the way, bespoke tea ceremony experiences are available for booking as well, and the full credit for the bespoke experience can be used towards any other mentorships that you want to use towards. So maybe that's something you want to consider. It can be in person, it can be online. Yeah, I do 2 versions of it, so you can explore that if that's for you. Oh my gosh, I love this. All right. Sending all my love and thank you. Have a beautiful, blessed full moon. And I will see you on the 19th right here. Until then, big kisses. Bye, Jennifer. Oh my gosh. Bye. All right. Love. See you soon.